Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Jewish Stripper Raw and Real with Ala Kaplan. And if you're new to my channel, welcome to the Jewish Stripper. As you can see, the banner says the Jewish Stripper, Raw and Real with Ala Kaplan. I'm Ala Kaplan, clearly by all the signs. So, Um, I want to talk today, as I said, if you're new to the channel, it's ALLAKAPLAN 3270 on YouTube, or just pull up the Jewish Stripper. So I am a former stripper, not a current stripper, as I like to remind people. But in any case, the important thing, what I want to talk about today is the relationship, what has happened in current events with Iran and Israel, and what Israel has done that basically the rest of the world is afraid to do, can't do, won't do, refuse to do. Um, they're basically they've basically targeted the enemy that's causing all this chaos in the world. This is a dictatorship that was capable of putting a missile anywhere in the world, in America, in Europe, in anywhere that they had the capability for a nuclear war, and they were a tyranny to their own people. And what I'm going to talk about also is the fact that now, of course, Israel is being criticized for doing something that the rest of the world didn't want to do. And as usual, when they're cleaning up their own backyard, they're cleaning up the backyard for the rest of the democracy in the rest of the world. For every democratic country that if you feel that they don't need to have a relationship with Israel, well, I'll just tell you that it is the most democratic country in the Middle East, where and what they're doing is, if you have to break a few shell eggs to make an omelet, they're talking about now people who are homeless in Iran, as if there weren't people homeless around the world in general. But war is a dirty business, and no one wanted to start a war. First of all, as I've said before, and I'm wearing a shirt that says, yeah, I stand with Israel and America, and I stand with Israel, and I stand with America, and whatever they have to do. Let's not forget that Iran was funding all of these countries, the Qatar and Iran mostly, but Iran at the top of it all was funding Hamas, was funding Hezbollah, was funding all of these basically terrorist organizations, and they were not going to stop. If Iran is not stopped, then all the funding, this whole nightmare of free Palestine for the whole world that we're witnessing, um, possibly, very possibly, I'm not a prophet, I'm not, a psychic, but we're very possibly seeing the beginnings of World War III. And why do I say this? And why is it important? And why is this something that you should think about? You should know because in a war, there will be casualties. There will be what's called, you know, excuse my memory. There are casualties, and there are casualties of war, and yes, innocents get hurt, but a lot of people don't want to admit and refuse to look at the fact that Israel tries to, as much as possible, avoid human casualties. They call, they send leaflets, they send emails, they send, they warn people that they're coming. It's not just as if that they just randomly picked a country that they thought needed to be eliminated. And Israel is not trying to eliminate the Iranian people. If anything, the people of Iran should be thankful, should be, to be honest. And I'm unapologetically Jewish, unapologetically Zionist. I've had people tell me to stay out of my lane because I am the Jewish stripper. And because I'm the Jewish stripper, maybe I should just keep it to stripping, or maybe I should keep it to my previous videos with psychology and manifesting and abundance and mental health advocacy. But you know what I've said, as I did before, I have a platform here, and I'm going to use it, and I'm going to use my voice. And in reality, what a lot of people don't want to think, what a lot of people don't want to say, which is the truth, is that people should be kissing Israel's ass. They should be thanking Israel for getting rid of this horrible, just death cult, this indoctrination of children. Someone has to end, and they never asked for October 7th. Let's not forget, and this is what it all goes back to in truth, that when all of this, the politics of everything is thrown out the window, let's not forget who started this on October 7th. Who is really the responsible people for a genocide? Would you want to call Israel that's saying that they're creating a genocide in Palestine? I hate to remind people, but the Palestinians were warned not to vote for Hamas. They had other options. Everyone told them, don't vote for Hamas. And they voted for Hamas. And Hamas destroyed Palestine, where there could have been, uh, a place like Dubai with they could have had a Riviera with hotels, with businesses thriving, and instead they chose to um, vote Hamas in, and Hamas took over and was killing Palestinians by the hundreds, and if not thousands, prior to October 7th, after 2006, after Hamas was elected, after Hamas killed people in the streets, before October 7th of 2023. And what a lot of people don't want to go back to is the day of October 7th when this really started. And right now, everything that has gone down with Iran, the Iranian people and the Israeli people should be friends. should be, they are neighbors, they are friends, and they should be a coalition for freedom together. Because what Israel has done for the Iranian people is giving them back their freedom, giving them back their voice, giving them back a new reality that they can step into. They have not only been able to defend themselves, for which, of course, there's a new blood libel that they're now basically saying that Israel is responsible for all the woes that will now happen in the country of Iran. Well, let me tell you, friends and family, let me tell you, Facebook family, YouTube family, every one of my subscribers, I want to thank you for hanging in with me. And I want to tell you, it's very difficult to create something new when for 40 years there has been the ayatollahs, all these, leaders in Iran, with their Sharia laws. Um, Iranians, Persian people, are an old, very ancient people who were at some point, mathematicians. They were doctors, they were mathematicians, they were professionals. They had normal lives. They were able to dress the way they wanted to. I don't know if they were ever able to be completely free and gay, but what Israel has done for not just Iran, but the entire world. And then, of course, all the libels start. I watched a comedian the other day talking about a game show where he was joking that whenever there's something wrong in the world, just blame a Jew. And the game show went, if the Jews did this, blah, 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 ding, 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 ding. Oh, yeah, the Jews did it. If something happened over here, ding, ding, ding. Oh, yeah, the Jews did it. Well, we have to say, in this case, the Jews did do it. It was the Israeli people, and the are amazing. The Israeli Defense Force, what they have accomplished, which no one else has been able to accomplish, is giving freedom. And this is not freedom just to the Iranian people. This is not freedom to just the Palestinian people who are now speaking out against Hamas, who are finally losing the fear of be protesting, not protesting to kill all the Israelis, not the river to the sea, but protesting against their leaders, the Hamas leaders, the Palestinian Authority leaders who sit in Qatar and Turkey. And I've said this before, and I will say this again. These people are billionaires sitting on the aid money coming in from around the world that actually is supposed to go to the Palestinian people to help them. When Hamas is blocking the food, when Hamas is blocking the water, when Hamas is blocking the medical help that they need, when Hamas, I saw a video where the Israeli Defense Force went under a hospital in Palestine, and there were living quarters there. They were watching television. They were cooking down there in a hole, in a tunnel, in a tunnel under, excuse me, I thought I saw a comment, in a tunnel under the hospital. There was actually a tunnel under a hospital where people were living. The Hamas people were living there rather than living a normal life, rather than being terrorists, rather than being kidnappers, rather than being murderers, rather than being um, just, going and getting jobs and becoming educated, they're living in a tunnel so that they can go and launch rockets from the hospital and launch rockets from private homes. There's tunnels under hospitals, under schools, under private homes. That's what these people were doing. And they were being funded by Iran. Make no mistake that as I've said before, if they ended Israel, if they completely annihilated Israel, if they completely annihilated all the Jewish people in the world, who is next? Do you really think that they would stop? Do you honestly think that they would stop being terrorists? That's their only export. That's the truth. Their only export is terrorism. And it's time to stop this insane death cult where children are indoctrinated in schools, in their books. It's talking about take a knife and go kill a Jew. It's time to stop this death cult. And as I said in my last video, when I said jihad will not win, the radical jihadists will not win. And I'm not talking about people who are Muslims who are peaceful. I'm talking about the radicals, the crazy, the insane death cult of Hamas, of Hezbollah, everything that was ISIS, where they're killing Christians. They're not just killing Jews, they're killing Christians, they're killing Syrians, they're killing Yemenites, they're killing all around the Middle East. And not only that, but the jihad is now in Europe. People living in Britain, in Ireland, in Italy, in Germany, in France, in every country that they go to where they're not working, they're living on welfare off the government. Is that what you want for your country? Because we have people like that here in America. That's why Israel is so important in helping to defeat this jihadist, radical, Islamist, indoctrinated death cult. It is time for them to, they've come out of the woodwork. The funny thing is, if you think about it, on October 7th, when the massacre happened at the kibbutz and the Nova Music Festival, when the murders and rapes of women being paraded through the streets of Gaza, and nobody wants to go back to the fact that on October 8th, everyone was ready to go with their posters, with their kiffas, whatever they want call those scarves, whatever. They were ready to the rats, they came out, everybody came out of the woodwork. The Islamist radicals who hated Israel, who hated Jews, were protesting the next day. The next day, they didn't care about the rape of women, the murder of babies, the decapitation of children. They didn't care about the peaceful activists who were murdered and hostages who were kidnapped. What all they could scream was free Palestine, free Palestine. And again, the only people that the Palestinians need to be freed from are Hamas, are Iran. The This is a miracle. These people don't understand. There's all of this, stuff in the media about what Israel does wrong, what Israel does right, what Israel did bad, what Israel did well, how, all this back and forth, honestly, bullshit is the word. The truth is, no one wants to thank Israel. Say thank you, Israel, for ending, or at least beginning the end of these uh, tyrants who would kill these gay people, transgender people, anyone who is not following their laws, who they would can't even imagine what the Israel has done for them. It is a miracle. When they say talk about David and Goliath, well, David for again slayed Goliath. And it is a miracle. It is an amazing thing. And yes, you have to really stop and not not bring presidents into this, not bring prime ministers into this. Think about what it takes for the Israeli Defense Force to really what they do. What they do on a daily basis is defend your freedoms on a daily basis. Whatever they do, whether they're in Gaza clearing the path to try and free the rest of the hostages, or at least get their bodies back so they can be buried with honor by their families. What they really do every day is defend your freedom. You don't think they're in your backyard. You don't think that they are there for you. But the Israeli people and the Israeli Defense Force are amazing. You have to give it up to them for what they have done. They have performed a miracle that will not be forgotten for a long, long time. And I don't want to tear up, and I'm not going to tear up. I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, and not only to Israel, but to everyone in our military serving who assisted in this operation, our military who helped make this happen, our military who watches over us every day, whose blanket of freedom we sleep under, and the families, their families that sacrifice so that they can do what they do. They too are miracle workers. They too provide for us what we don't realize in our own backyard every day. And I will say some final words to Hamas, to the protesters, to these people, the jihadists, the radical Islamists who go overseas to live overseas and then to want to um, incite protest, incite hate against Jews, incite hate against Israel, incite hate against America, burning flags in America, American flags, burning the American flag under the freedom that has been provided by people in Israel, by the American military, by the Israeli Defense Force. They have the freedom to go and burn the American flag, to incite hatred. This is what it is, hatred. To incite hatred, to scream from the river to the sea, to that we're not the indigenous people, that we don't belong there, that we Jews have to go back to where we came from, and to burn the Israeli flag, burn the American flag. Now they're burning the every flag. All they want, come from the country that they come from, and then they want to live the way they lived in their original country. Then my question is, why did you come here? Why did you come to America or any other country and bring Sharia law with you if you were running from that for your life? If you're running for your life, then you should be thanking Israel because they're providing the freedom. And America, thank America and thank Israel for providing for you the freedom to protest for all your bullshit, to protest your anti Israeli, anti Jew hatred, anti American protest. Congratulations, because you are living under the freedom that Israel has provided for you. And I'm going to conclude. I'm just going to say thank you again to people who have watched my videos, who have been subscribers. I'll mention real quickly, I had an interview. It's on YouTube. If you Google a kick in the ass um, podcast, a swift, excuse me, a swift kick in the ass with John W. Curran, and that's spelled Curren. He interviewed me for his podcast almost 2 hours. It was really an amazing experience. And I'm so grateful to him and so thankful to him for taking the time. And he was so wonderful, genuine, authentic, fantastic. I was just in awe of his openness and his honesty about his life. And we had an amazing, almost 2 hour conversation. I want to thank him so much for interviewing me and promoting my podcast. And just, I want to say thank you to John. It was amazing. And I want to thank all of my followers and subscribers. You guys are just in my heart every day. When I think about what should I do, and when people tell me to maybe stay out of my lane, well, I'm not going to stay out of my lane because I am a Jewish woman, as I said, unapologetically Zionist and Jewish. And I have a platform, so I will use it. And I want to thank you for joining me today and wish you a very happy evening, and enjoy your freedoms. Enjoy your freedoms that are protected by people you don't even know, by people that you would be amazed if you met them. Thank you.